Today's show is sponsored by DVCBuyResale.com. DVCBuyResale.com is a great place to buy or sell your Disney Vacation Club membership. You can view their current Disney Vacation Club resales, get answers to frequently asked questions, and see the DVC points charts all at DVCBuyResale.com. Or call Chantel directly at 1-800-844-4099. This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Friday, July 27th, 2007, and this is episode 288 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hodgberg of MGMstudios.org. Evidently, most people don't even know that I run this website, so I need to shamelessly plug it, I've been told. So, MGMstudios.org, MGMstudios.org. Len's not here, so I'll take up his spot. MGMstudios.org. Also on the show is Mike Scopa of Mouseplant.com and All Ears Net. Welcome, Mike.
Sure.
That would be Turtle Talk with Crush. It's like I knew you were going to say that. And also on the show is Mike Newell of MouseWorldRadio.com. Welcome, Mike.
MouseWorldRadio.com, MouseWorldRadio.com, MouseWorldRadio.com. I can beat you at any game.
Oh, MGMstudios.org? I don't think so.
MouseWorldRadio.com.
Yeah, MGMstudios.
MouseWorldRadio.com.
All is net.
I could turn your volume down and say it all day long.
And now 20 minutes of plugs.
Ding, 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 ding.
Mouse Planet, Mouse Planet.
And also joining us is Annette Owens of MEI Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome, Annette.
Hi, I guess I should be saying Mouse Fan Travel, Mouse Fan Travel, Mouse Fan Travel.
Annette, that is so 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, I mean, get with the trends here.
Well, on today's show, we're talking about volunteering at Walt Disney World. There's a number of attractions where you, the guest, can actually be part of the attraction and volunteer. And we've decided to go through a number of these attractions and tell you about how you can volunteer and whether or not we think it's completely crazy to volunteer for it. Now, we should mention, I volunteered for some things. Scopa, you volunteered for some things in the past, right?
Yes, way in the back. Way in the past. I've been in
Revolutionary War
stage twice, and I've been... What did you say, Mike?
Nothing.
Let's see, what else?
But you volunteered. The point I'm trying to make here is that Annette and Newell are petrified of it and avoid volunteering for attractions like the Plague.
That's right.
So
Very correct, yes.
So if you're like Annette and Newell, they will provide commentary on how to best avoid being picked.
That's right. Always.
We'll prescribe not wearing deodorant
but it's so much fun, Matt. My most favorite volunteer thing was probably being on stage at Hoop-de-Doo.
Yeah, you're right. I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. I mean, you're nervous at first, but once you get up there and you're in it, I mean, it's a lot of fun. I've gotten some great memories about it. So let's talk about the different attractions. Let's start at the Magic Kingdom. And Scopa, why don't you tell us about Storytime with Belle? This is mostly for the kids, though.
What do you mean, Matt? I mean, I can't. Storytime with Belle takes place on that access between the hub in front of the castle and Tomorrowland. And it's a little area in which Belle comes out and she interacts with the audience, and she will have her assistants bring up some volunteers, and these volunteers will react to some story that Belle tells. And although it's mostly for children, there is always one dad who's always up there, and he gets to dance with Belle.
And I wonder, Freytel, have you ever volunteered for this before, Mike?
I've tried, but I just couldn't convince them that the two women who I was with were my children. Just.
That's right. So there's one attraction. Another attraction is Monsters Inc. Laugh 4 Comedy Club. And Annette, why don't you explain to our listeners how you can volunteer for this one?
Not how to avoid?
Well, if you were so inclined to, and then you can tell people how to avoid it.
Oh, you can. When I was in there, we had a very active dad who kept jumping up and down in his seat to make sure he was picked by the camera. So, and if you make funny faces when the camera fits on you, you're going to be stuck pretty much. You may be the dad that gets picked on the entire time. I spent most of the time looking down at the ground.
Looking at the ground. Well, what would you do in this kind of situation? Would you...
I would tie my shoe.
for 30 minutes?
For 30 minutes. It's a long shoelace.
Very nice, Mike. And Scopa, something that you actually participated in the first time, the Sword in the Stone ceremony, back when you actually pulled Excelsior out of the lake.
That's true.
And then people are reenacting Scopa's life every day. So why don't you tell our listeners about how you can volunteer for the Sword in the Stone ceremony?
All you need to do is to be a cute little blue-eyed, blonde-haired kid, and you're probably going to be picked. Merlin comes out and talks about...
Are you saying that Disney only goes for good-looking children?
Perchance you may have a clue. The ceremony involves the sword that's in the stone. Excelsior is in the stone right near the carousel, and Merlin comes out and he's looking for the right king. I'm not exactly sure what he uses, but he asks all these big brawly dads to come and try to pull out the sword, and usually it's a 40-pound 4-year-old who can do it every time.
Very cool. Newell, whenever you decide, when you and your wife have kids and you bring them over there, you just be like, hey, we don't have time for this stuff over here.
I'm busy.
So I'm busy. That's right.
I got audio to record. I have no time for this.
Looking for a freaking bush.
Let's go over to the studios. The first attraction that you can do is actually the High School Musical Pep Rally. And in this attraction, it's pretty easy. In the middle of the show, the cast members that are performing in the show are going to bring up. They try to encourage kids to come up and volunteer, but they also will bring adults in there. And they ask the kids to really shoot hoops into these large, oversized plastic basketball hoops with these large balls and dance with the cast members. It's pretty easy to get chosen. This one's actually hard because I'm always afraid, like Newell. In this kind of case, I don't want to go up there because, they're going to make you dance.
I'd pay to see that.
Yeah. So in this case, I'm pulling a Newell, and I am tying my shoes for the next 20 minutes.
Actually, because their kids have watched this High School Musical video over and over and over again, could probably do the dance right out there. I know at my house... It's still going there. We can't wait for the next one to come out next month.
There you go. So Annette, we'll all at Mouse Fest. Let's all go see Annette dance since she knows all the dance moves. Obviously,
I bet Len knows the dance too.
Oh yeah, that's right. But Len needs some tequila to get going. Another attraction. This one I have volunteered for. This is a lot of fun. The Backlot Tour. Has anyone volunteered for this in the water tank?
Nope.
No.
No, I did this one for. This is a lot of fun. There's two places you can volunteer. One is the engineer, and one's the crew who serve on the deck over there. The engineer's pretty stupid. All you do is you sit in the chair and you pretend not to see the 30,000 gallons of water coming at you. The real fun is the guys that are on the crew on the ship because they have to react to planes attacking them and a submarine attacking their ship, and it's a lot of fun. You get to volunteer for it. It's somewhat pretty easy, especially if you can wait for the next showing. You can volunteer for that one pretty easily. It's a lot of fun. I've done that one in the past. It's great. The next one, I think, Scopa, hasn't your wife volunteered for the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular? I thought you mentioned
yes.
In the past.
Carol was in that. She was one of the mob, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, they asked for about 7 to 10 volunteers for extras to kind of fill in the scene when to just pretend to be locals in the area.
Yeah, she was kind of carefree that night, and I think she wanted me to volunteer, but I just didn't. I wasn't into it, so she said, well, I'm going to do it, and she just, waved her arms, and next thing you know, she's going up and signing some release form.
Did you videotape it, Mike, or do you have any record of it?
I believe I do. In case I need any blackmail, material.
Okay, well, she had a good time up there, though.
Yeah, she was on the Indiana Jones and Stunt Spectacular, and she also was in Superstar Television back in the day.
That one was fun.
Was there.
Newell,
that was pretty good.
Newell, you didn't want to volunteer for that one. I could see you liking that kind of a.
I like it from the 18th row center. It was great. From the stage, I know nothing about it.
And the final attraction at the studios you can volunteer for. This one is Newell's favorite because there's no way he's ever going to get picked for it, even if he wanted to do it. And that's at Lights Motors Action Extreme Stunt Show, where they choose one kid to quote unquote drive the car remotely.
Yeah.
And they always pick a kid who's 10, 12 years old or something like that in that age range. So Newell, even if you wanted to, they're not going to pick you.
I tried to pay and they wouldn't take my money. Your money's no good here, kid.
This one doesn't seem. I mean, it's kind of dumb because the kid, especially if you've seen it before, but I mean, the kid just goes up there, pretends to drive it. I don't think in the times I've seen it, the kid always figures out after about 2 seconds that they're not really driving the car. But whatever, it's cool. I mean, you get to be in front of everybody. You're on the video screen. It's Newell's nightmare, but for the kid, a lot of fun. In Epcot, Turtle Talk with Crush. This one's a lot of fun. This is mostly for kids, again, who get to sit up in the front. Although parents can get picked because usually the kid will ask the question and then Crush will ask, who brought you here, and then they interview the parent. And this is the case where, just to make sure he would never get picked, Newell would never go in there.
That's right.
Annette, have you? This was probably your kids were probably too old for this when Turtle Talk opened up, right?
Well, no, the youngest enjoyed it. I would recommend if you want your children to be picked to be up front, and many times put the ears on their head. That tends to it draws attention.
Oh yeah, you want to stand out from the crowd, especially if it's really crowded over there. That's a good suggestion, Annette. Another attraction. It's not really an attraction, but the World Showcase Comedy Players in Epcot. Scope, again, you've been picked for this in the past.
Yeah, Matt. A couple of years ago, I was at World Showcase, and I was in Italy, and they were doing the casting part
Life
for
of Mike Scopa.
Romeo and Edna. And I just stood there, and the cast member was walking around, and he walked behind me, and I said to myself, I just know it. And sure enough, he picked me, so I played the part of Romeo. But what was kind of neat at the end, they gave me this. He said, "We don't have any prizes for you, but we have something very special that I'm sure that you'll really value." And he handed me this button, and I'm actually holding it right now, and it's got all the flags of the countries in World Showcase, and it says Honorary World Showcase Player. And what he said is that you bring this to World Showcase every single time you come back, and you just flash it when they pick you, and you won't have to deal with this embarrassment again. So I carry that. That's a sure Newell. I mean, I could probably sell this to Newell for about $1 million.
I was just going to say, how much is it?
Didn't you also, Scopa? They don't have them anymore, but the the living statues they used to have in France. Not Newell, Scopa. I mean,
I remember seeing them, but I never. Those usually were for the children. Yeah.
Okay. I remembered a picture of you for some reason with them.
No. Oh yeah, there's a picture of me standing next to one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's somewhere. Who knows? Blackmail. With my Elvis hair at that time, I think.
And finally, over at Animal Kingdom, Festival of the Lion King. Scopa, why don't you tell our listeners about this one?
Festival of the Lion King. It's one of those special moments when they do the song "The Lion Sleeps Tonight," and they select children from out of the audience, and they march around the center with the costume characters. It's pretty cool to see the kids, marching and smiling and stuff. It's something I always look forward to when I get down there.
My kids actually got picked to do this, and that was a highlight of their trip. So I would recommend, if you want your children to be a participant in this, maybe towards the front or towards the end. If you're in the middle of the section, it's a little hard to get to you.
Okay, that's a good suggestion. Certainly, if you want to be part of it. Also, Flights of Wonder, you can volunteer for, right, Scopa?
It's involving children. I don't recall if there were any adults, and it's basically having the kids do things with the birds. That's a pretty good attraction. I think it's one of those attractions that people just don't bother going to see, but it's really quite enjoyable. You're sitting down and you're watching these trainers work with these amazing birds, and some of the stuff they do is pretty cool, and they do stuff with the audience. So that's part of the volunteering.
Very quickly, what's an attraction for all of you that you miss that you see able to volunteer for? While you think about that, I'm going to say mine was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. That was, you could win a cruise. How cool is that to be able to volunteer? I think, Newell, if you can win a cruise, wouldn't that be worth putting yourself up there for it?
Well, yeah, but Millionaire is different because you're not really making a fool of yourself on Millionaire.
Well, unless you get wrong on
but still,
out, the first question. Yeah,
it's not as crazy as the other ones, especially like Superstar Television.
Okay, so you would go for that one?
I would, if I was smart enough.
Smart enough to get in the chair, right?
Smart enough, yeah.
And quick.
Yeah, exactly. It takes a lot of smarts and quickness more than anything. Scopa, would you say Superstar TV, or are you going to pick a different one?
I was going to say Monster Sound stage because Monster Sound show because it's always a different show every time you get guests up there, and it's pretty funny. I was lucky enough to do the 2 different shows up there, so that was something that I miss.
That was another great show at the studios. Newell?
I'd say Monster Sound show too. My dad got picked for that, and we always have really good memories of that. That was a lot of fun.
And Annette?
See, I go back to Millionaire. That's what we tried many, many times. Mark and I did, and I'm just not fast enough. I could get the right answer. I'm just not fast enough, so I missed that.
Well, that's it for us today. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, this is the Walt Disney World Today webpage at www.wdwtoday.com. You can also email us your questions at questions@wdwtoday.com. For Len Tess, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Today's show is sponsored by DVCBuyResale.com. DVCBuyResale.com is a great place to buy or sell your Disney Vacation Club membership. You can view their current Disney Vacation Club resales, get answers to frequently asked questions, and see the DVC points charts all at DVCBuyResale.com. Or call Chantel directly at 1-800-844-4099.
Here's the latest in the dispute between Internet Radio and the music industry over new royalty rates. The crippling new rates were due to go into effect July 15th. Sound Exchange, the royalty collection agency, is encouraging small webcasters to keep operating while deliberations continue. Basically, we're on hold. The final outcome is yet to be decided. Have a say in the matter. Contact your congresspeople through SaveNetRadio.org. Urge them to support the Internet Radio Equality Act.